Hello, everybody. Welcome to Christmas week. And for everyone that has been celebrating Hanukkah, I hope that you've had a wonderful, fantastic, amazing holiday season. So, today we're going to be going over laws of agency. So, if you're here with me live or watching on recording, please do hit that like button. It really does help us out over here at the Pass Buddy team. And remember, if you haven't already, check out passbuddy.com. That's where I have all of my practice questions, quizzes. You could sign up for private tutoring, all that kind of stuff. And I actually think I might be going live on Christmas Day and Christmas Eve, even for a little bit, just to give us some, semblance of normalcy. So check out our Facebook group. It's over at Pass Buddy. If you just search for Facebook on Facebook, if you type in Pass Buddy, that's something that you could find us there. The Pass Buddy Real Estate Exam Study Group. You'll see the little dog, little Pass Buddy logo in the corner. You'll see my smiling face there as well. But without further ado, let's jump into some practice questions over on Pass Buddy. So the first one says, as a buyer's agent, your job includes assisting the buyer in making an offer by A, always recommending an offer at lower than asking price. B, researching similar properties that have recently sold. C, obtaining an appraisal from a licensed appraiser before an offer is made. Or D, um, checking the assessed value of the property. What say you? What say you in the chat? So this one says, what do you think? Researching similar properties that have sold? Yeah, absolutely. You want to take a look at properties that have sold so that you could see what is the best offer. Because here's the thing, situation is, okay, situation is this, okay, um, you can maybe offer at asking price or above asking price, and it could still be a good value for the buyer. The way that you structure a deal, okay, the way that you structure a deal, okay, is not going to be a situation where it's necessarily always going to look like it's quote unquote a deal, right? Where you're getting, 50,000 lower, 20,000 lower, 30,000 lower, right? So it's a situation where, okay, what happens is sometimes if you're researching all the properties that have sold, might be a situation where the asking price is actually reasonable. So that's why what happens is, as a buyer's agent, what you're going to do is you're going to research properties that have sold, see how it compares, and go from there. So that being said, let's take a look at the next one. Next one says, which of the following ads represents puffing? Represents puffing. And that's one of the lowest crime rates in the city. The school district has some of the best education around. Excellent walking score if you like to stretch your legs. Or you couldn't find a nicer lake view anywhere in the state. What say you? What say you? A lot of people are tossing up between B and D, right? So puffing or puffery, right? Puffing or puffery is going to be a situation where that's going to be, okay, is that going to be D? Can't find a nicer lake view? Yeah, absolutely, because that is an opinion. It is me saying you can't find a nicer lake view. Now, another home might have a lake view, right? But I'm saying this is the best lake view that has ever lake viewed. This is the nicest. You can't find a nicer lake view than the one I have right here, okay? Can't find one that is nicer than this one right here. So, that being said, let's go ahead. Let's take a peek at the next question, shall we? Next one says, Teresa is a real estate agent and has recently signed a listing agreement with Henry, the seller. The relationship between the agent and the principal is called pending, fiduciary, executory, or implied? What say you? So, this one, the relationship that we have, right? The relationship that they have when they sign a listing agreement. So here's the thing, signing a listing agreement is going to be a situation where what that does is it creates an agency relationship. The agency relationship is also known as a fiduciary relationship. And here's a reason why it's called a fiduciary relationship, because there are fiduciary duties that the agent owes to the principal, right? That the agent owes to the principal, okay? So the agent owes to the principal, okay, fiduciary duties, which means the relationship we also would call, outside of it being an agency relationship, we would call it a fiduciary relationship, right? So let's take a look at this one. This one says a person who authorizes another to act on his or her behalf is called the principal, the customer, the fiduciary, or the agent. Okay, what say you? What say you? So, a couple on here are synonyms. Okay, so a couple on here are synonyms. A couple of these on here are synonyms. And which ones are synonyms? So the agent and the fiduciary, C and D, are synonymous with one another. So the agent and the fiduciary. So if one was correct, the other could not be correct. So now we're left with the principal and the customer, right? So a customer is a neutral third party who is not in an agency relationship. You just owe them fair and honest dealing. So if you were working with the seller, the buyer would be the customer, neutral third party. Okay. Now, this next one's going to be the principal. So the principal or the client are going to be synonymous with one another. The principal or the client are synonymous with one another. So, any questions on that? Any questions, concerns, burning desires? So, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it grooving. Let's look at the next one. So, the next one says, John, an associate broker listed an office building. Who does the listing belong to? John, John's employing broker only, the seller only, or John and his employing broker. So who does the listing belong to? So keep this in mind, right? The listing, the listing itself is an employment contract. Okay? It's a contract that basically says, "Hey, we're employing you to find us a broker, to find us a buyer," right? So the listing contract would be exactly that. Okay, we're doing this to find a buyer, right? To find a buyer for this. So, situation is going to be this. The listing in this particular situation is going to belong to John's employing broker. So the agency relationship, listen to what I'm going to tell you, okay? The agency relationship is always going to be between the broker, okay, and the sales associate. So, listen to what I'm going to tell you. We're going to cut this a little short today. But what I want you all to do is this. I want you to remember that if you do have questions, you do have concerns, burning desires, head on over to passbuddy.com. That's where we have all of our practice questions, quizzes just like this. Also, too, what I want you to do is this. Remember, we are going to go live every single day this week. Okay. So keep that in mind. Like I said, I'll do Christmas Eve and Christmas Day as well. But what I want you to do is this. Like I said, head on over there. Also, join our Facebook group, Pass Buddy Real Estate Exam Study Group. And I will see everyone real soon. Have a great one, everybody.